Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. Reciting the Angelus prayer December 3rd, Pope Francis focused his words on preparing for the Lord's coming and praying for Honduras, where recent questionable presidential results have created uncertainty and civil unrest. Rome Reports has more from St. Peter's Square.
A few hours after returning from his trip to Myanmar and Bangladesh, Pope Francis prayed the Angelus in St. Peter's Square, also thanking those who had prayed for his visit. The Pope gave a special prayer for the Honduran people who face a difficult crisis after the latest presidential election.
Nella mia preghiera ricordo in modo particolare anche il popolo dell'Honduras perché possa superare in maniera pacifica l'attuale momento di difficoltà.
As it was the first Sunday of Advent, Pope Francis reflected on the importance of being prepared for the coming of the Lord.
Essere attenti e essere vigilanti sono le condizioni per permettere a Dio di rompere nella nostra esistenza, per restituirle significato e valore con la sua presenza piena di bontà e di tenerezza.
The Pope also explained someone who is vigilant is capable of appreciating the beauty of each day and responding to the painful situations in the world with love.
La persona attenta si rivolge poi anche al mondo, cercando di contrastare l'indifferenza e la crudeltà presente in esso, e rallegrandosi dei tesori di bellezza che pure esistono e vanno custoditi.
More news now from the Vatican. Pope Francis encouraged men and women considering vocations to not fear God's plan for them and open their hearts to the voice of God. The Pope's message for the 2018 World Day of Prayer for Vocations, which will take place on April 22nd, was released this week by the Vatican. The theme for 2018 is listening, discerning, and living the Lord's call. In his message, the Pope said God's call is not as clear-cut as the things we can hear, see, or touch in our daily lives, because God comes silently and discreetly without imposing on our freedom. He said Christians must learn to listen carefully and view things with the eyes of faith in order to hear his voice, which is drowned out by the many worries that fill our minds and hearts. The Pope went on to say that if God lets us realize that he is calling us to consecrate ourselves totally to his kingdom, then we should have no fear. In news from around the world, Pope Francis held a press conference on the plane ride back from Myanmar and Bangladesh. He was asked about his emotions meeting with Rohingya refugees during the trip. He was also questioned about the use of nuclear weapons, especially with the recent situation in North Korea. Rome Reports has more from the plane.
As he usually does when returning from a trip, Pope Francis answered questions from journalists during the flight. The Pope spoke about his meeting with the Rohingya as part of the press conference. He explained that this encounter with this persecuted group was a non-negotiable part of the trip for him.
Poi di averli sentito uno a uno con l'interprete che parlavano la loro lingua, io cominciai a sentire cose dentro. Ma io non posso lasciarli andare senza dire una parola. Io ho chiesto il microfono e incominciai a parlare, non ricordo cosa ho detto, so che a un certo punto ho chiesto perdono. Credo 2 volte, non ricordo mai. La sua domanda è cosa ha sentito. Nel momento io piangevo, cercavo che non si vedesse. Loro piangevano pure.
The Pope also explained that he did not pronounce the word Rohingya in public in Myanmar because it would have closed the door to dialogue with the authorities. He acknowledged that while speaking in private, he sent a clear message on where he stood on this issue. During the press conference, the Pope also spoke about nuclear weapons.
Oggi siamo al limite. Questo si può discutere, ma è la mia opinione. Ma la mia opinione è convinto, sono convinto. Siamo al limite della lecitù di avere e usare le armi nucleari. Perché? Perché oggi con l'arsenale nucleare così sofisticato rischia la distruzione dell'umanità, o almeno di gran parte dell'umanità.
In closing, Pope Francis said he still desires to travel to India, which could be next year, and that traveling to China is still another one of his goals.
And finally in the news, a study out of the University of Alabama exploring the link between faith and health demonstrated that those with a devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe had fewer negative health issues related to stress. The study's author, Rebecca Reed-Wahidi, focused her survey on one Mississippi community that had a mix of Mexican, Guatemalan, and other Latin American immigrants. Reed-Wahidi said she found that people who are exposed to stress, their well-being goes down over time. However, those who were Guadalupan devotees broke that pattern. According to Reed-Wahidi, Our Lady of Guadalupe is more than just a mother figure to her people. She is their mother. And most of the devotees she interviewed have conversations with her throughout the day. Every year, on or around the December 12th feast day, immigrants across Mississippi take their mother to the streets and celebrate her love and protection. Celebrations include processions, traditional Aztec dances, meals, and liturgy. It is a feast not just for Mexicans, but for all. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.